It's coming back up.
Mark, you good?
Yeah. 100%, baby. In charge. Last night's good meeting.
About 1 o'clock, I'm sitting there working on my computer, but
Oh, crap.
plug in mine.
This is ridiculous. Keeps coming out.
Did you fire back up?
But I don't have. Maybe I'm not charged.
Did you close the app?
I might as well do my phone.
Yep. I'd be like, hear ye.
Yeah, but I don't even have the info.
Where's your little keyboard? You take it off?
I don't. First of all, I don't know what any of that is. I have no idea any of that stuff.
Okay. We got 2%. We're killing it.
Yes, I am. What? I put it right. And
Man, you gotta hold your mouth open.
it's wrong. My tablet is broken. Is there IT person? Do we have somebody at IT?
We got issues.
Oh, they're there. Here comes IT. Yeah, it won't come on.
Yeah, no, well, just her login and stuff doesn't seem to be.
Maybe it gained 2%. Oh,
Can you say it look all
I mean, when I put my password in, and then it just spins and it doesn't go to the agenda.
Try again.
What did you do that would made it? We turned it off? We'll see.
We'll see. I'm just imagine touching it. It happens. Okay.
Request timed out. Weird.
She broke it.
I'm sure.
Well, mine was doing the exact
I mean,
same
we
thing.
had the
I
same
restarted
one for like 6 years. How long we been
restarted.
doing
a couple years, 2, 3 years.
it? What is about planning? I mean, the password is plan 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah, capital P.
Capital P, you did, yeah.
I did that.
I did,
As well, I had
it
to
keeps going on.
restart mine. She's restarted.
I restarted twice.
Planning 1, 2, 3.
It's not that hard.
I'm glad everyone's here today. I guess while they're working on that, I'm going. You got ever been invented. It's huge. Still acting up on you, huh?
Good evening and welcome to the City of Douglasville Planning Commission meeting. I am Francisco Artley, the chairman of the Planning Commission. The other members of the Planning Commission are Keith Burnett, the vice chair, Natalie Fegan, Nathan Zachary, Joy Bates, Ralph Benton, and Mark Van. The staff members are Shayla Reed, Community Development Director, Miranda Jordan, Staff Attorney, Dana Gray, Senior Planner, and Chelsea Tubbs, Planner 1. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start the meeting. Please listen closely on how tonight's meeting will be conducted. Keep your comments and presentation on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this commission to make its decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the meeting and the premises for the night. Refrain from any applause or comments from the audience. Only one person will be talking at a time, and all comments will be made at the podium after the speaker has been recognized by the chair. Please direct all comments to the chair and the commission, not to the audience or the staff. Please do not applaud or react to speakers. Speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. Be aware these hearings are not a debate or an opportunity to ask questions which must be answered by any individual tonight, but merely an opportunity to present information to the commission. Other than the applicant, no person may speak more than once. The applicant may reserve part of their speaking time as a rebuttal and may speak next and last and may use the entire 20 minutes allotted for the pro side of the application. Other than the applicant, no person may speak longer than 5 minutes. If you have a cell phone or other electronic device, I ask that you either power them off or put them on silent mode. If anyone wishes to speak tonight, please fill out a form available on the table up front and hand to the staff before approaching to the podium. After the case is called, we will hear next from the staff regarding any relevant information for this case. The commission members will be free to ask questions at any time before the vote on a project. Following the applicant, anyone who wishes to speak for or against the project or just ask questions will have an opportunity to do so. The city ordinance restricts each side to a maximum of 20 minutes, or time may be waived at the discretion of the presiding official. If questions are raised, we may ask the applicant to speak again. Afterward, we will call for a motion and a second, have any necessary discussion, and if the matter is not tabled, we will vote to recommend approval or recommend denial of the application. This commission is only a recommending body. The items will be heard by the mayor and council whether we recommend approval or recommend denial. Unless tabled, items A and D will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, August 1st, and then voted upon by them at their meeting on the following Monday, August 5th. Item C will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, August 15th, and then voted upon by them at their meeting on the following Monday, August 19th. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes. Are there any discussion needed for the minutes of June 4th? Do I have a motion to approve them?
I move that we approve the minutes from June 2024.
A second?
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion is passed and the minutes have been approved for June 4th. Is there any old business that we need to discuss? Welcome back. Thank you. All right, we'll begin with our new business. The first case is item 24-224, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from PRDC, Planning Residential Development County, to PUD, Plan Unit Development City, for plus or minus 10.21 acres located at the intersection of Stewart Mill Road and West Stewart Mill Road in Land Lot 11, District 1, Section 5. Parcel ID is 001101502222. Application by Stewart Mill Holdings, Jeff Matthews. Staff will now present the item. Mr. Dana Gray.
Hello, good evening, commissioners and constituents. Our first case is a rezoning located at Stewart Mill Road and West Stewart Mill Road that is approximately 10.2 acres. The entire site is located in Douglas County, and the applicant has applied for an annexation that will be heard by mayor and council in August. The applicant is requesting a rezoning from PRD-C, which stands for Planned Residential District, which is in the county, to PUD, Planned Unit Development, which is in the city. The applicant is proposing a total of 91 units, 84 are townhomes, and 7 are single-family detached homes. After analysis of the application, staff has found that considering the surrounding area, this proposal will be conducive to our future land use. And I do believe the applicant is present.
All
If
right.
you have questions for the applicant.
Is there any need for questions from the commission? All right. Thank you, sir. Will the applicant come forward and state their name and address for the record? Tell us what you intend to do on this property.
Good evening. My name is Aaron McCullough. Address is 6554 Church Street, Douglasville, Georgia, 30134. I'm a representative for the applicant as their engineer.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chairman and Commission members, for hearing our request this evening. Yes, we have this piece of property at the intersection of West Stewart Mill and Stewart Mill Road, and we are requesting annexation and rezoning as Mr. Gray presented. In the county right now, it is currently zoned PRD with a use of a 115-unit apartment complex. So we believe we're requesting to annex into the city and downzone this to a medium-density residential fee simple property. We are bounded on the north by West Stewart Mill. We're bounded on the south by Stewart Mill, and on the west end of the property, we are bounded by St. Julian's Episcopal Church, and then another adjacent residential property. We believe we kind of fit into the fabric of the neighborhood pretty well. Up along West Stewart Mill, there is a higher density townhome project in the county, and there are also apartment complexes in the county. To our east is a medium-density detached single-family subdivisions, and then back down to our south, below our property, is a little bit more low-density residential detached. So we think that we fit very well within the fabric of that community. We've also assessed and looked at the, I believe it was the housing assessment needs performed by ARC in 2021, and in that housing assessment needs, it stated that Douglasville's needs were, I believe, a mix of attached and detached units for sale fee simple, and did not really strongly suggest apartment complexes. So we believe we align with those housing assessment needs as well. We do have 91 units, 84 are attached, 7 are detached. We do have those 2 mixes. That is to comply with the PUD requirement of having 2 different types, uses of those residential units. I would like to, and forgive me, I'm going to try to work this clicker, and I'm not going to say I'm very well at it, so I'll blame Mr. Gray if it doesn't work well. But this here is, if this shows on your screen, this is our site plan here where we have these units. We have had pre-application meeting with city staff, and a few items that we have addressed as part of that is, one, there are no long terminating cul-de-sac streets within this development. So it contains and has a interior perimeter road, and we believe that is conducive to creating a community and neighborhood environment. The attached units are all rear entry, so they will be facing the perimeter of the property. And what we think is the centerpiece of our property as the amenity is right in the middle is a long linear park. All of those units will face that park amenity area as well. It may not display with this plan, but we're proud of this interior amenity park. It's approximately 2 football fields in length and about 2/3 of a football field in width. So that is a very nice, long community amenity that we hope will bring this neighborhood together for uses. Is very pedestrian friendly. We are surrounded our entire perimeter with sidewalks, both around our perimeter and interior to the site. So within our neighborhood, it will be very user-friendly from a pedestrian perspective. We performed a traffic study pursuant to this application as well, and none of the surrounding intersections were detrimentally impacted. They had great levels of service, of use for those, so the only required and recommended improvements were those that we have shown. There may be a little bit different in that configuration. Our main access point will be on the north side of the property on West Stewart Mill Road. And then we have a right-in, right-out only access point on Stewart Mill Road. And that is because of the proximity to the red light. We did not want left turn movements out of the project onto Stewart Mill Road. So with that said, that pretty much envelops the project and our intended use of it as well. We'll go to the next slide. These are a couple very quick elevations that have been provided to us from a few of our potential users as well. And so you can see we've got a nice mix of roof lines, color palettes, and those kind of things. These are not to be taken as the final product. We will work with city staff to envision what that exactly in conformance with city rules and regulations, but these were idea boards for what those may be. Thank you, and I'll entertain any questions if you have some.
Are there any questions from the commission?
Yes, I have one question. Is the intent for this project for the properties to be all rentals, or are they for sale, or what's the?
This project is to be for sale, fee simple. Yes, sir. Individual homeowners.
Couple of questions. You said that on the perimeter, each perimeter, both on West Stewart Mill and Stewart Mill, they'll be facing out towards the road?
That is correct.
Okay, and then what's the setback from the road to the front? I'm trying to find it on your map.
It's a minimum of 20 foot, but
Okay.
I believe that we have those on Stewart and West Stewart set back further than that as well. Our interior ones may have a 20-foot front setback, but I believe it may be a 30 or 35, and let me flip to my plan as well, and I very well may be able to tell you what that is. Our minimum front setback is 25 feet around that perimeter.
Okay, and then the perimeter is going to have a fence?
Say that again, please, sir.
Will the perimeter have fencing around, or is it just direct access to the road?
We have not anticipated perimeter fencing.
Okay.
They may incorporate fencing in the yard area,
Yeah.
but we haven't delved that far into it, sir.
And then this last question around the perimeter, will there be any foliage or plants or trees?
There will be appropriate landscape screening, yeah,
Okay.
as required by code, yes, sir.
Will there be sidewalks?
Yeah, sidewalks.
Is that what is there planning?
There is
for-
sidewalks, yes, sir.
Now, I'm looking at this, you're looking at six townhomes per,
Yes, sir, I think our largest unit, or our largest span is 6 townhome block. I believe we have a couple that are less than that. I do see some that are 4.
Yeah.
But that is about the
What's the
most.
spacing between those groups of townhomes?
The minimum spacing is 20 feet per code.
So, the combination of 7 single-family homes and 84 townhome units, it sounds like that was done to meet the mixed housing requirement?
That
Was
is
there
correct.
always a plan to have 7 houses? That seems like a strange mix. I don't,
That is part of the component to meet the PUD requirement for that mix. And to be honest with you, the 7 detached units are up in the corner of the property, and so it's a piece of the property that's a little disconnected from the remainder of the property, and so that is one reason we felt like some detached units up in that area would work well with that, rather than having just a complete attached unit product all the way across the board.
and what's the primary reason for you wanting to go from county to city?
One reason is we actually, looking at the assessment needs, we felt like we fit the fabric of the city better than we did with the county. In the attached and the detached and the zoning configuration as well, and those items, yes.
So you felt like you met the city,
The city allows, in their code, that PUD code, allows this mix. And it is much more difficult to find a section of code in the county as well that would able to fit our vision of this piece of property.
okay. But what I heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you created the mix because that was a requirement of the city. Now, and so
It fit
which one
perfect-
came first?
It fit perfectly. It
Okay.
fit perfectly.
Okay, all right.
One more question. In regards to elevations that you shared, it looks like, at least on the attached, well, both actually, the garage is in the front, but I thought I heard you say the garage is in the back.
That is correct. These are
Okay.
stock. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I was clear.
That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, okay.
Also, you talked about the interior amenity park, which I love the idea of having that green space. Are there any amenities that you're going to put there, or is just going to be left green space?
At this point, we haven't determined what all exactly what amenities will be included within that park. I would imagine maybe some playground equipment would be nice. We have a gazebo shown for a nice little meeting area.
Well, I was kind of looking
benches.
at the whole 10.21 acres, basically, to me, looks like all house, all townhomes. I can't see where you could, when you say you don't know about amenities yet, where you could put a pool or something else. It just looks like it's just 10 acres of townhomes.
The amenity is the park in a passive leisure scenario.
Just a green space, that's it. Right.
I have a quick question. Can you, I didn't hear that. You had said something about the current county zoning allows for apartments, the way it sits right now. Is that what you said?
It is currently zoned PRD with
Yeah.
a specific use entitled for a 115-unit apartment complex. That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any other?
I just have one more.
Okay.
Just for my clarity on the SWM, is that intended, is that a retention pond or is that a
Yeah.
pool?
I think that's retention pond.
That is a stormwater management pond. That's a
Stormwater,
retention
okay,
pond.
that's
Yes,
what I wanted
that's
to be
correct.
clear on, yes.
No, that's where the tadpoles.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, before you sit down, but I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know that you indicated that you spoke with staff and that there's already communities there. Have you had any opportunity to speak with the community that's already there?
We have, we've actually met with St. Julian's Church, with people from the church. We have not met within the, directly adjacent to us, okay? Those people, the residential house, we have not met with them yet.
And by yet, am I to understand that you intend to?
We will make attempts, that's correct, yes. We have. Just been unsuccessful.
You
Thus
have made
far.
attempts to,
We've
but
made
you've
attempts,
been
been
unsuccessful.
unsuccessful, yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
Across the street, yes.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
One more,
Yeah.
just one, price point.
Price point, it'll probably be in the 400s.
Okay, thank you.
Do y'all have a builder yet?
We have a few, but we have not dialed in on one specific one yet, and I'm not at liberty to divulge those at the moment.
Okay.
So that price point is
So all the
for
elevation is just, like you said, is, we don't really know.
It is generic. We did receive those from one of the potential builders. But yes,
That price point is for the townhomes and the detached?
the detached might be a little high, on the higher end, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make other comments? Please come forward and tell us your name and address.
I have lived in that neighborhood for about 40 years.
Your name, please, and address?
Cindy Welch, 3002 Concord Way.
Ms. Welch, just to be clear, this is in favor of.
I am in, yes. I only have a couple questions. So at the corner of Stewart Mill and West Stewart Mill, that's going to be a detention pond?
Yes.
And will it be like landscaped around it, fenced, I guess?
They're nodding yes.
Okay, okay, and then all the homes who face West Stewart Mill and Stewart Mill, their driveways will come off of the interior streets, is that correct? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. There's nice homes across the street, but you don't see them. And this has just been a vacant area for, well, like I said, I've been here 40 years. And I just think that what he's showing would probably really be a nice place to put that. So,
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this project? Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward, tell us your name and address. Is there any need for any further discussion? Any more questions? Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I make a motion to approve the application.
Or is there a second?
Second?
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes and the application is recommended for approval and will be heard by the City Council's legislative meeting on Thursday, August 1st, and then voted upon on Monday, August 5th. Thank you. The second case, the next case is item 24-225, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from RA Residential Agriculture County and R2 Single Family Residential Detached City to PUD Planned Unit Development District City for plus or minus 21.24 acres located on Malone Road and Land Lot 646, District 18, Section 2, Parcel ID 0646182001, 0646182002, 0646182003, Land Lot 647, District 18, Section 2. I lost my place. Parcel ID 0647182001, 0647182002, and Land Lot 703, District 1, Section 3, Parcel ID 0703013006.
Good evening, Commissioners. I am Shayla Reed. I'm the Community Development Director at 6695 Church Street for the City of Douglasville. The applicant has asked to withdraw this application. They are doing some renovations, not renovations, I'm sorry. They're doing some revisions to the application. And so it must start the application process over. And so they'll go through the annexation kind of notification of 45 days with the county again. And then they'll come back before you at that time.
So do we need to table this?
They're withdrawing the application, so you wouldn't need the table. You just have to accept the withdrawal.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. The next case is item 24-226. Hold a public hearing and consider a
There's a whole group of people, I know that they want to push it back, but we come all together today that we might be able to speak to you about that.
Wait, just a minute.
24-225, the Long Hill project.
The project is now off the table completely. That's what Ms. Reed just explained. So that, there's going to be maybe a new submission in the future, but they have withdrawn their application from the city. So there won't be any discussion on the matter tonight. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you'll have, I'm sorry, but you'll have to wait until they come back and present it before the commission. Thank you. If you'll, please. No problem. No problem. Just make sure you guys come back for when it's presented. Thank you. The third case, I'm sorry, is item 24-226. Hold a public hearing and consider a special request for a special land use permit for a family personal care home for property zone R2, single-family residential, detached district for plus or minus 1 acre on Cedar Mountain Road in land lot 194, District 2, Section 5, parcel ID 01940250307. Application by Channon Foundation, Lon Bell. Staff will now present the item.
Good. Again, this is a special land use permit located on Cedar Mountain Road on a property that is approximately 1 acre and it is zoned R2. The applicant is requesting a special land use permit for a family personal care home for adults with special needs. A note would be that the site is vacant and the applicant is proposing a new home with 4 bedrooms and amenity space at the rear of the site. And I do
Okay.
believe the applicant is here, so you have questions.
All right. Any questions for the staff? All right. Thank you, sir. Will the applicant come forward and state their name and address for the record? Tell us what you intend to do on this property.
Good evening. Thank y'all for hearing this for us. Yeah, name's Lon Bell, address 6470 Cedar Mountain Road, Douglasville, Georgia. Been a native here in Douglasville for, all my life. So went to all the schools here and graduated here and was drawn to start a nonprofit in 1999 to help special needs adults. My wife and I have served special needs out of our personal home for years and years. I acquired this property several years ago, and we envisioned taking, it was 6 acres in total. We split out an acre. Because of its location, we could get to sewer access, but what we serve is special needs adults. We don't do mental health or those kind of things. This is your basic special needs housing. And for a little clarification, I know there's not really a this community living arrangement. It's called a CLA, which there's not any codes for CLA in the city, but it's the closest thing is a personal care home. And we contract through the state of Georgia through Medicaid, and we're a provider for them. And the way the law and the rules are written for the state of Georgia for a Medicaid provider, you can serve no more than 4 individuals in a home. So for special needs, they go, they blend into the community. They go to a day program here locally, they would. And then, you know, just be a part of our community. And we are 24/7. We have staff that would help them with their needs. Every need, every person's needs are different, some greater, some less. But that's us, that encompasses basically what we're looking to do on this property.
Okay.
Any questions?
Are there any questions from the commissioners?
You mentioned amenities on the rear.
Yes, ma'am.
What would that entail?
Something like fire pit, outdoor area, recreation area for them to go and sit and just to enjoy the outdoor like you and I would just at our home.
Okay. I was reading somewhere on the application that you had said 4. It said no more than 4, but you had on there like, I read somewhere it said 2 to 6. And I thought, well, okay.
No,
is it-
sir. If that's on the application, I don't recall that being on
Okay.
there.
What, Dave, did you have something?
It's part of our code, but then state only allows 4.
Okay, that's where I saw it. It was part of the code says 2 to 6, but the
Correct.
state only allows 4.
Right.
Okay, yeah, city
Okay.
code versus what we're held to is a little different.
Okay.
Our maximum capacity is 4.
Okay, I didn't want to say, hey, we're going to only do 4, but we could do 6. And then
No.
you shove 6 in.
No, the governor wouldn't allow that.
Okay.
Mr. Bell, are these long-term residence leases? How's that work?
They're long-term, and what happens, and I don't know, each of you may know someone with a special need, and what happens a lot of times, the parents get where they can't take care of their children. And I look at them personally, my wife and I, we have a medical team also, and we kind of look at each person that we're looking at taking in and seeing if we can build a family unit. A lot of our individuals, we started in '99, and the 4 ladies that we started with initially lived together till 2 of them have passed away and 2 still live together today. So they become very, very close, and we try to make a family unit as best we can. So we screen the individuals coming, you know, the state will present, hey, we've got a need for someone in your community. So we'll go and look. A lot of providers like ourselves will take them no matter what. It's because of the revenue, but we don't do that. We have to make sure that they'll mesh, that the personalities are good together. And once you get the right home, you know, and they become a family, it's a special thing. And it's
Yeah,
long.
I remember your last application. I hope that other location's doing well.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
appreciate what you do. I think Douglas County definitely is missing out on, you know, needs like this for the community.
Our area is lagging way behind
Yeah.
for this community, this population, and they need some help in our area.
Okay.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
sorry, what's the age? I think I
So
remember you
18 and older, 18 and
older.
older, yes, ma'am. We don't service, they consider children.
Okay.
So it's after the age of 18 and up.
Okay. And so you already have a house for this here in Douglas County, I think I
Yes, ma'am.
remember.
We have several homes in the county.
Okay.
That we, like I say, Lisa and I, we started in '99 out of our personal house. And we did that for years. But we were able to start our first home and our second home. So we've got several homes, I'd say 6 actually in the county now.
Okay.
So,
And does the state approve these locations?
absolutely, absolutely. So there's many levels of oversight. And we have to go, and we have to complete the house. They come out, do an inspection, and they come out and see the house every month. You know, it's pretty high visibility that we have, and that never goes away, which a lot of providers may not want, but we encourage. I actually hired a staff to review us internally, just the way the staff would, to be sure that we're keeping things on the level that the way I look at it and the way I tell my staff, if we could leave here tonight, and any of our gatherings, I tell my staff, we could leave tonight and be in a car accident and be a traumatic brain injury, and I want to take care of our individuals the way I'd want to be taken care of. And that's the goal that I set. You know, we never know, because tomorrow it could be us.
So do you have, do you receive a rating from the state? Are you in good standing?
We do, yes, ma'am. We're in very good standing. Matter of fact, we actually have to get an outside independent rating. If you're familiar with Joint Commission or CARF, which hospitals and nursing homes and all those have to do, we have to pay for that, and they come in from out of state to do that. And we have to do it every 3 years. You have to have a recert, it's called a certification. You have to have a recertification every 3 years. In our last 2 certifications, we've got an A on, which was presented at 93 or 96% was our last, I think the year before, or the 3 years before, and our last one was 93 and 96. So we rate very, very well. And we have been invited. I was put on a team, my wife and I were on some hospital transitions years ago, just because of our organization and the respect that the state has for us, to help do some hospital transitions for special needs that shouldn't have been in the hospital. They need to be in the community. So,
Okay, awesome, thanks.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board? Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank y'all so much. Appreciate your consideration.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make other comments? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there any need for further discussion? All right, do I have a motion regarding this application?
I'll make a motion that we approve item number 24-226.
Is there a second? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes and the application is recommended for approval and will be heard by the City Council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, August 15th, and voted on August 19th. All right. The next item is 24-227. Hold a public hearing and consider a proposed amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance for subsections 2.02, 8.01, and 13.02 to provide clarification regarding data center usage. Staff will now present the item.
Thank you, Chairman. This particular item is assisting staff. We have had some, just to kind of explain how the process goes when it comes to an application coming into the door. An applicant comes in and we look at a table, we determine what zoning it may have, we determine the definitions may assist us with that before it goes in either the rezoning process or in the application process for a business license. However, staff is having some challenges with that when it comes to data centers, because we need to ensure that, you know, we're placing in the right location as intended by council, as well as ensuring that it has the definition that council wants to see it have when it comes to that business license use. So this text amendment is a staff-initiated text amendment where, or city-initiated text amendment, where staff is asking for the ability to just kind of clear up some loose ends to make it easier for us when those applications come in the door. So the first section that will be having that change that's being proposed is going to be the use table, as mentioned. So you're seeing where there's 2 different data center kind of spelling outs. There's a computer programming and repair. That particular, that's going to be on page, what is this? I'm sorry. 5. Okay, I was trying to find it on my chart. Thank you. So that particular table outlines how we're looking at what zonings they fall under. So you're seeing anything in red is what we're adding. So NAICS is what we're using, which is a national data center that database that tells us how to classify and define a use. they update their numbers, and we already have that defined in our code as far as what uses or what table numbers to have. We're updating that table number. We're also removing data centers for, not data centers, computer programming and repair from the office and distribution. That is because that is more like an industrial use. So we're taking it out of there, but ensuring that it remains in the warehousing for data centers. So data centers are going to ensure that they're allowed inside of only the industrial side zoning classifications. That helps us because right now, if you leave it as it is right now, there is a, I don't want to say debate, but there is some confusion between the applicant and staff trying to enforce that because they're thinking it belongs in central business district. I believe it belongs in general commercial for a data center, and that's not correct. So this change will help clarify that for the table. So that's first. The second change would be the number of parking. If you've been following council, you'll see that we've had a number of parking variance requests for data centers as they have come in the door. That is because this use is very unique to the number of parking they would need. As you know, they do not have a large number of employees. It's a large building that has very few individuals to work there. So we would be requiring a large structure to have large parking spaces, which is impervious surface. That is unnecessary. So we're asking for the change in the table to be where 1 per employee of the largest projected shift. So this will kind of vary based on that particular business. If this business has a shift of 15 people, that would need to have 15 spaces if that's the largest shift. And then lastly, there's a definition. We needed to ensure that we can identify what data centers are. Back in 2019, data centers weren't as largely used in the zoning classification explanation. So here we're defining that. And we allow for this to be a use or definition that we borrowed from the city of Savannah. So this is another city's text that we're using. And that concludes my report, Chairman.
Are there any questions from the board?
Yes,
So,
go ahead.
computer programming, repair, data processing services still stays under office industrial?
So for the computer programming, repair, and data processing services, it's being removed from office distribution.
Right, no,
But
I
it
see that,
stays in
but it's,
office- I'm
I,
sorry.
I see that change, but but it's gonna remain also in office industrial,
Office institutional.
institutional, sorry.
Yes, it remains there. Office and institutional is more of an office kind of space. You'll find schools and institutions, so it's like an office and institution. So it does not necessarily, it doesn't have a warehouse industrial use. So anything that had that warehouse component, we ensure that data centers went there.
Because there's more restrictions in office institutional than. in-
Right, well, it's more of a use that would be allowing for hospitals or institutions for schools or prisons or things of that nature. So that's where that use would fall under.
Okay, got it.
That was part of one of my questions. Thank you on that one. So the differentiation for data processing service, I mean, that's a distinct, separate thing from a facility or a center
Right, so.
per se. I worked in that industry, so
Awesome.
I'm familiar with the terms and whatever. So I was just trying to make sure that our terminology matches up with the reality of it. Because a lot of processing services, they're not functioning with all of the equipment. They may just be collecting the data, doing the comparisons, whatever, and sending that. That's an office sort of thing. Now, a data center, you've got all this equipment in there that makes AT&T be able to handshake with Verizon, and Verizon can handshake with T, and all that functions happen. So that's the distinction that this is intended to do, to make that distinction.
Right, so the first page you'll see on the memo, it gives a definition and the differences. So this great group of men behind me are IT specialists or geniuses, right? So if they wanted to start their own business, they would be that first use, because that's more of a web design, that's more of fixing errors and issues, web issues, or things of that nature. However, a data center, of course, are those large warehouses, right? So those are two different things. It was making it challenging because applicants were trying to go into the easier route of these commercial areas, right? And staff was trying to inform them that that was not the intent of this document. So to clean it up and make it simplified, those that are going to be web design and those kind of easy IT services, those are going to stay within commercial, neighborhood commercial, town center mixed use, CBD, central business district, things of that nature. And then we'll allow for, as it's already defined, for data processing to remain in warehouses. And we didn't change any of that. The only thing that I did add was add the word facility and center, so they'd be a little bit more defined.
The other question I had, was about the parking.
Okay.
And I do understand that, because those centers don't, it might be 10 people there at max at one time, unless they're doing some install. Will that have a negative impact on the back end? Let's say, for example, they make this data center and then decide, well, we don't need this one anymore, we're gonna move. Now we got this structure there with 10 parking spaces. That's the size of a football field.
That is an amazing question, because that came up during this discussion. And so what that does is, when an applicant comes in the door, when we're checking for a business license, that full thread of what are you approved for and what does the site call for, we check that at the time of the business license. So if they're going in to have a business, like the great team to the left, when they come in and have an application to have a data center that leaves that particular use and go into warehousing, they've changed their use. So our building official then has to go in and do an inspection. He goes out and he confirms what the building must have and don't have. He'll then inform the team over here that they are needing to have X amount of parking. They'll then confirm what that parking number would be. Then they're required to enhance that. So what usually happens in states like this, they're using a lot of greenery or leaving a lot of greenery on the site. That helps, because what happens is now you're having to install that parking. Yeah, it's just right now, Chelsea, can you confirm? I think we've had about, 3 variances this year? Has it been listed at? About 4 variances just for parking in data centers. So to remove that need, we just would need to change it, because the use does not require that many parking spaces.
Are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the proposed amendment? Ask questions or make other comments, please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this proposed amendment? Please come forward, tell us your name and address. Is there any need for further discussion? Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I motion, we approve, application for 24-227.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved, recommended for approval, and will be heard at the City Council's legislative meeting on Thursday, August 1st, and then voted upon by the mayor and City Council on Monday, August 5th. All right. Do we have any staff reports?
I know that it says none, but I would just like to officially welcome you back.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you and look forward to working with you for the next 4 years.
Thank you. Is there any other discussions? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, well, motion and we will adjourn.